Hello and welcome to today's twin flame reading for the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine in the current union energy going on between you both, whichever one you may be, and don't be afraid to continue exploring yourself. That's just a reminder for anyone who's questioning, if you're the Divine Masculine or the Divine Feminine, or questioning who your twin flame is, or if you're completely certain of these things even, but there's something within that's unstable there, or you feel like this person definitely is your twin flame, but you'd prefer that they not be. Well, just remember to surrender control, and that God sees you perfectly for, how He created you. And so it's safe for you to also experience that, and to explore and to break down barriers within you. And sometimes the only way to break down those barriers is to ask a question, and to even explore the other possibility, explore the possibility, oh, this person's not my twin flame, well, what would that mean, and so forth. Again, if you're not sure, and sometimes even if you are, even if they're with you, it's it can just be healthy to clear out, the dead stuff, the weeds, whatever. And, it can come up in dreams as well. So, yeah. And it'll just bring you into deeper peace. I'm feeling very peaceful today. I hope you are too. And just a little announcement that the new moon is coming up in a couple days in Cancer. And this season, the astrological season, is about to change from Cancer into Leo, so that's going to be, I think, a fun shift. And I did say full moon, I think, last night in my reading, so if you were someone who was watching my reading last night, oops. Yeah, I don't like it when I make mistakes, so I just have to love myself there. I don't know if it's the Capricorn in me or what, but it happens. So, let's get started with the reading. Today I have, 3 cards from 2 different decks. So I decided to double down for everything, and I have a chakra reading card on the bottom layer, and I have, and those are by Rochelle Charman. And I always put the decks in the description, so if you want to check those out, or if you ever have questions about the decks, feel free to ask too. And then the Crystal Angels deck by Doreen Virtue. Cool, yes. So, okay, we'll start with the Divine Feminine. So we'll start, of course, with this crystal card that's on top, and it says, own your divine power, SUGILITE. Okay, cool. Replace codependent people-pleasing with assertiveness and empowerment. Yeah, so you can just feel into that. I mean, it's a very self-explanatory card, and, we all go through this, and the Divine Masculine goes through this too, but right now, this card is really speaking to the Divine Feminine. And just go deeper there with being yourself, feeling empowered. This can also perhaps speak to places where you have an overlay of someone else's personality because you have felt insecure, or just unable to retrieve yourself in that place. And so that's where the mirror exercise really going to come in handy, to say the least. Loving yourself in those places. I know I've experienced that. It's something I was even healing today, which is why I brought it up. I just realized, there's been some really wonderful people in my life, and continue to be. Some of them have, I'm maybe are not currently talking to. Some of them I am. But yeah, just the experiences, I guess, that I'm speaking to about sharing with these people, and particularly other women, is like there's places within me where I like couldn't find myself, and so I kind of had an overlay of like a friend or something that it was kind of a little bit of a false personality that I was feeling into, but it wasn't that it was just, yeah, like I didn't see myself like, just in certain experiences and everything. And so coming into my full self is like, it's really healing to those places, and you can choose to, release that if you find yourself doing that as well. And, this could also speak to your relationship with your mother too, perhaps, maybe if that applies, and kind of seeing yourself as her in certain places. And yeah, you're your own person. You could never be your mother, for better or for worse, depending on your experience. You can only be yourself. So that's a part of owning your divine power too. And this is really magnetic to your twin flame. So because it's like when you find yourself in that place, you're able to meet them there. You're really able to connect in that particular place. And when you have an overlay of something that's not you, it's very hard, if not impossible, to kind of connect in that particular place. And that's, on the other hand, repelling to your twin flame. So just have compassion for yourself as you work through that process. It's not something that you need to hurry on, but like you can fast track it, through the work that I practice and that I share and use in my coaching. And so yeah, I just recommend continuing, in those places. And so this card is just kind of like an indicator to pay attention to those kinds of patterns or anything else that this card brings up for you. So let's move on to the next card. Next card is forgiveness. So yeah, forgiveness really does go hand in hand with the non-people pleasing tendencies, because when you truly like forgive and let go and stuff, you're able to then embrace yourself. And forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean like, not holding someone accountable, just like you would hold yourself accountable, hopefully, or if you haven't yet, you'll want to hold yourself accountable for everything. But it doesn't mean that you're responsible for other people's choices, but you are accountable for what you attract into your reality, because your overarching thoughts and everything is what attracts your reality. It's like you really do. And even coming into this world, as, I was going to say as a kid, but really as a newborn baby and everything, as far as like past lives and stuff like that go, and all of these things that you carry with you you are meant to be one with the divine and to shed these kinds of patterns. And so yeah, it's just safe to be compassionate with yourself and know that God sees all in you and in others, and God doesn't not see what's going on or what's happened. And so it's safe to find your voice, but also know that like whatever it is that you've been through is seen. You don't need to hold on to it. You don't need to stay in a place of victimhood ever, because you don't think that it, like, you can't kind of fully maybe comprehend some trauma or something. So it's just safe to like surrender that and to choose to heal completely. And speaking of trauma, I really recommend MAP and I can link that at the bottom of this reading too. It's the mind alignment process. So yeah. But yeah, forgiveness really does heal, and forgiveness starts right where you are, right? Like if you, for instance, read A Course in Miracles, one of my favorite books of all time, you're gonna see like all of the different facets of forgiveness and how it kind of really puts everything together into a whole picture. And so, you know, on the one hand, like you do at some point like forget all the wrongs and things that someone has done, because in truth that was never done. Like that's an illusion. But to kind of like be like, oh, you know, that person, well, just, I don't know, you know, did something really bad, and whatever kind of crime you want to like think of in your head, you know, but that didn't really happen, so we'll just forgive them. Well, that doesn't, you know, that's also not good, right? Because that's kind of actually leaving your brother or sister behind to perhaps commit more atrocities, because they're clearly running a pattern, and so that pattern needs to be stopped, right? But it's not necessarily, you know, you can't control someone else, but you can use the systems that are in place, and you can do what you are called to do through others, perhaps, you know, through your own divine guidance, through coaching. Like you can claim your support, and just always know that if whether it's something big or small, that like you can have complete peace in that place and just work through that process. And forgiveness could, again, also just be like a completely inner thing. You know, it may not be something extreme where you need to deal with someone, but sometimes, you know, I think more often than not, like we take for granted some of the things that happen in our realities that we don't address. And so it's appropriate to just address whatever it is or has been, and do it from a place of love, right? And just like see what's there. So don't be afraid to explore, you know, the most kind of appropriate step to take towards complete forgiveness in your own reality, towards all. And just take that one step at a time, and know that it might come up in layers. So yeah, feels like that we went pretty deep with that card. So let's move on to the Divine Masculine. So LAPIS LAZULI, love when I pull this card because I have some right here. I have a few other crystals in my other room. I should, like, you know, get my whole crystal collection going on over here. Anyways, I'll keep that in mind. Yeah, so well, it's a time of big and blessed change for you, and God is supporting you each step of the way. So there's an epiphany happening for the Divine Masculine. So it feels like to me the Divine Feminine's going very deep within her inner reality, perhaps taking some action steps, but like the inner healing being the primary thing, and this kind of really deep level of peace that she's both seeking and finding, and kind of working her process is allowing, you know, her Divine Feminine to be magnetized in those places within their union. And so there's something getting rewired here, so to speak, for the Divine Masculine, and it's a really good thing, right? Like it's kind of like a coming of age, and I guess what's coming up too is something about like inner child for the Divine Masculine, and allowing himself to play and be creative, and yeah, like be intimate with himself in those places, and enjoy like his own like how it is that he's creative, and whether that be more like, you know, like if sports or painting or whatever it is. It doesn't matter, but just something that's fun and feels really good. And this can help kind of really clear some of the energy and just allow this whole process that's happening to be more fluid. Yeah, so that feels really, really good card. And the chakra card is personal power. So yeah, I think again, like that kind of play, that creativity, it also speaks to a state of abundance and not being afraid of his own abundance and your divine inheritance. It doesn't matter, you know, what your bank account looks like right now, whether big or small or anywhere in between. Like you are a divine child, and it's safe to own that, and it's safe to just support your union from where you're at and just appreciate yourself for where you're at, and know that like your worth runs deeper than your external value. I mean, society places still, you know, even though there's been a lot of rebalancing, I guess, but still places a lot of expectations, particularly on the divine masculine, for his assets externally. And that's not always like the best place to start with, right? Like it starts from internal. So I think it's time for the divine masculine to check in with his inner assets and give himself some appreciation for what he's cultivated there first and foremost. Again, regardless of, you know, even if you do have an amazing mansion, like that's awesome. But yeah, how does that relate to your inner reality? What's going on there? And as the divine feminine, you know, you can just like hold space for that and appreciate your divine masculine as well for his personal power. And this is kind of, you know, again, helping the divine feminine's kind of like going more in and deep. And I feel like this energy is, you know, very complementary right now for the DM. So it's nice. And yeah, look, it matches. Solar plexus chakra happening there. Okay, so anyways, the middle cards, we have increased support. Your positive focus and willingness to receive have opened the doorway to an abundance of help and opportunities. Wow, that's a really beautiful, powerful message. I mean, I know that these cards tend to be on the more positive side anyways, but you know, this one just really like hits home for me, and it like I really feel that energy behind it. Feels I mean, the cards always hit home for me. Like let's be real about that. But yeah, like it's okay to just to get the positive messages, but to completely sort through them too, right? And this really speaks to that. It speaks to where you've been holding down your inner peace and cultivating it, and saying no to ego, saying no to poverty consciousness, to abuse, to being disrespected, to lowering your values. You know, anything that you have been saying no to, as far as, you know, when the illusion goes and ego goes, and anywhere in your consciousness you've been saying no to it, you know, you can really just take a moment to peacefully congratulate yourself and to like allow more flow into that place, allow God into that place completely, and feel God's support in that place, because your feelings are primary and they truly do cultivate your reality. And sometimes we can block that because we're like, okay, we're feeling something and nothing's happening here, so I shouldn't feel good here because I've felt good here before. And when I started feeling good here, someone hurt me right in that place, or, you know, whatever the story is for you, you can kind of shut yourself down when you're just starting to really, like, just about to see a bud or a blossom in that place. And so it's really safe to instead, you know, make a new choice in that place and know that that's not the truth. And it's time to truly let go of that illusion in that place. And again, like, allow God in and allow your twin flame in there with you too, you know. Just in that place within where you have been loving yourself, continue to do so. Don't stop. And don't discredit how powerful your love and the energy that you're putting into loving yourself in those places is. And take care of, you know, your reality too. Just remember, like, increased support. So it also means it's time to continue to support yourself. And this is going to help open up the opportunities as well. And what do I mean by that? Well, like, maybe you need to support yourself with, like, a good movie, or make sure that you're eating on a schedule. Whatever it is for you, you know, like, it's about feeling good, and it's also about supporting yourself in your life purpose, because if you're well fed and you take the time to have some unwinding time for yourself, you're actually probably going to be more productive. And then you can continue to discipline yourself when you're starting to feel like, oh, I'm eating too much, or, oh, like, I've watched enough, whatever. Like, you know, you can feel when something feels good versus when it's starting to feel like time to move on, time to be productive, time to go to sleep now. So yeah, just stay positive in those places and choose to love yourself there, and it will be much easier to feel when it's time to always transition. And these kind of subtle shifts in some ways are, again, like, they're opening up that doorway to more abundance, because you're really also just saying no to the little, you know, sneaky ego voices that want to try to get in there. And that stuff's not, you know, you can just tell it to hit the road. It's not here for you, and it can be completely obliterated from your reality. So you just take it one step at a time, and you are supported in doing that. So let's move on to the last card, and the last card is Determination. So yeah, that's a very nice last card to have, and it kind of, you know, it speaks to the DMs card with, again, more of that solar plexus energy. So to me, it kind of says that what the Divine Masculine is focused on right now, and that more outward energy, is also something that's kind of, it's going on in the bedrock of your union, and there's a conscious choice being made if you just, you know, allow it to happen, and you make the choice yourself, either as the Divine Masculine or the Divine Feminine, to really just fully embrace this change that is happening, and to remain determined. Allow your determination not to feel like a burden or stressful, or like, you know, you necessarily need to take action even, but just, like, be present with what it is that you are, you know, truly, like, determined to be, to do, to embody. And, you know, if you're watching this, I would say, like, it's something to do with union consciousness, right? And so there's a determination here to go deeper with union, and it also speaks to not just your union, but there is a desire in consciousness to, improve the world, and to show, you know, to help with that by, like, just shining your light. And so just know that, like, you choosing love and you choosing to align with harmonizing your union, is a service to the world. So it's a lie that loving yourself is, only serving you, or there's something better that you could do. I mean, no, it doesn't necessarily mean like sit around and eat bonbons when, like, your kid is crying. Obviously, you gotta probably go help your kid, right? But like, just as an example. But yeah, like you love yourself right where you're at, and you love your situation right where you're at, and remain determined, and also remain determined even whether things look good or not so good. So if you're in a really wonderful place, or you're having a really wonderful day, you can just really allow that to sink in and relax into it, and know that you're still determined. You're still determined to continue on and to succeed, and that this peace that you're feeling right now is going to help carry you through. You can see how determined these fish are, and they're gonna get where they want to go, right? Like, and so don't worry, you are supported by the whole universe in your desires of getting where it is that you're actually directed, to go towards your desires. So it's not even you who's in charge of that. When you just let the divine move through you, and you just like take the steps, you heed the advice of those that you trust, like that's also the divine moving through other people as well. You do the work, you do the spiritual work, you do your work of the day. These are all showing the universe how determined you are, and that stuff does not go unnoticed. So yeah, just keep going, one step at a time. Chop wood, carry water. Yeah. So cool. That's gonna do it for today's reading. Hope it resonated for you. It sure did for me. And if you haven't already, you can subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button if you want to know when readings are coming out each day. And check out all the links below. I'll put that mind alignment process link that I mentioned. I don't always put that in the description, but I will definitely do that. Mirror exercise, check that out, as taught by Jeff and Shalia. And also all my links to work with me and receive readings if you desire that. So have a fun rest of your weekend. Enjoy, and I'll see you soon. Love you. Bye.